Welcome in, everybody. Ready to dive into chapter 31 with me?
Oh, absolutely. This one's intense.
It really is. Talk about a story of healing and resilience over 25 years.
It's pretty remarkable, right? 16 years old, living in Belgium,
Yeah.
and she goes through 2 cardiac arrests,
Wow.
a coma, like a long one, 5.5 weeks,
Oh, my gosh.
then another 6 months being treated like a burn patient.
I can't even imagine.
It's hard to fathom, right?
Yeah.
And on top of all that, learning to walk again.
Having to relearn how to walk. She even talks about her shin bones, like being exposed
Oh, yeah.
at one
Yeah.
point, and then having to retrain her brain
Wow.
to walk without braces after muscle transfer surgeries on both of her feet.
It's incredible the things that we can overcome as humans, you know?
Yeah, and still graduates with her senior class.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
talk about determination.
Talk about, yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not, this chapter isn't just about the physical recovery.
No, not at all.
It really delves into the emotional and the spiritual side of healing over all those years.
You're right. And she makes it a point to say, that she never felt broken,
Right.
which I thought was, pretty remarkable. But
Yeah.
but she acknowledges feeling delicately held together in the years after.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to a certain resilience, but also hints at, a long and complex process.
It does. There's this one quote that really struck me, and it says, from the moment I awoke from the coma, I knew that I had been broken, yet I never used that word.
Hmm.
It's like she understood the reality of her situation, but didn't, let it define her.
Yeah, I mean, that's a powerful, powerful insight there.
Yeah.
I think it suggests an active choice to focus on healing and moving forward rather than dwelling on the trauma.
Yeah.
And this connects to another key idea, right? The beautiful life in between.
Yes. Yes. She talks about finding joy and purpose amidst like all of the challenges,
Uh-huh.
and it's like she's actively choosing
Mm-hmm.
to see, to see the moments of beauty
Mm-hmm.
and growth, even when faced with adversity.
Instead of being defined by her illness,
Yeah.
she's actively shaping her own narrative, right?
Right.
And I think that's a really important takeaway for all of us. And
Yeah.
and she eloquently expresses this when she writes, "I deeply believe within the depths of every breath that I take that when I heal myself, in turn, I heal the world."
Wow. That's powerful.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. It really speaks to that sense of interconnectedness and the ripple effect
Absolutely.
of personal healing. Like if
When we heal ourselves, we heal the world around us.
we heal, yeah, it's a beautiful sentiment. It really is.
Yeah, and to kind of explore these different facets of healing.
Okay.
She uses this, I thought it was fascinating, this framework of body, mind, heart, and soul.
Yeah, I love that because it's not just physical healing, it's our mental well-being,
Right.
emotional, our spiritual well-being. It's all of it, right?
Exactly. It's an integrated experience,
Yeah, yeah. So let's start with that first part of the framework, the
Mhm.
body. And, she describes facing not only the initial trauma,
Right.
but also chronic illness, specifically ITP,
Yes, yes.
which led to, having to have a splenectomy
Right.
and during the surgery.
It's crazy what they found, right?
It's wild. They found 12 baby spleens.
In addition to one full-size spleen.
It's remarkable how she can like recount these experiences almost in a matter-of-fact way.
I know, right? It's not that she's downplaying the severity,
Right, right.
but there's this strength and resilience in her tone.
Yeah.
It's like she's just choosing to focus on the facts and keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. Yeah, and then
Oh.
moving on to the mind. She talks about how she really dove into her academic pursuits and used her mind as a tool,
Mm.
Finding comfort
Mm-hmm.
and a sense of empowerment in knowledge,
Absolutely.
particularly through philosophy and the Socratic method.
Which is fascinating, right? Challenging assumptions and questioning.
Yeah.
Constantly questioning this resonated with her very deeply.
Right.
She even mentions an interest in hypnosis, too.
Yes.
Showcasing this intellectual curiosity
Yeah, yeah.
that she has.
It's like she was actively seeking understanding and control in a world that just felt chaotic and unpredictable.
Right. I mean, who wouldn't after that?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And using her mind to explore and make sense of her experiences. And then that exploration leads us to the heart,
Yeah.
where she gets more personal
Right.
and talks about love, marriage, motherhood,
Mhm.
and this deep longing for connection.
Yeah, and what I found striking was how she distinguishes between different types of love, right?
Yes.
Romantic love, the love she has for her family, and then this deeper, almost spiritual yearning
Mm.
that she
It's
describes.
really beautiful.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, how she explores the complexities of human
Oh,
connection.
right.
Yeah, and she even refers to her children as indigo children, which I think
Yeah.
is fascinating because it ties into that next part of the framework, the soul.
Mm.
Her spiritual journey is a significant part of this chapter.
Oh, absolutely.
She talks about her complex relationship with Catholicism
Yeah.
and this search for meaning, after experiencing such profound suffering.
Yeah, it's a journey a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with her background, right?
Oh, right.
Her parents had been a brother and a nun in the Catholic Church
Wow.
before leaving the church.
Right.
That's that's got to be a lot to reconcile with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And she even describes feeling, spiritually abandoned at times, like
Yeah,
questioning why a loving God would
right.
allow,
Right.
such suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually she seems to find like a more personal.
Yeah. Less dogmatic
Right.
spirituality.
Right. Which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Even in the face of such immense pain, she finds a way to connect with something bigger than herself.
Yeah.
And this search for meaning is kind of intertwined with another recurring theme in the chapter.
Okay.
This sense of being drawn to someone,
Yes.
a you
Yeah.
that she addresses throughout.
Yes, this mysterious you.
Right, right.
It adds a whole other layer to the story. It's
Yeah.
like at times it feels like she's writing a love letter,
Hmm.
just pouring out her heart to this unknown recipient.
Yeah.
Who do you think you represents?
I think it's deliberately left open to interpretation,
Yeah.
which I think is brilliant. Could be a soulmate,
Yeah.
could be a higher power,
Yeah.
even a future version of herself.
Okay, yeah.
But this constant yearning for you
Yeah.
speaks to a deep desire for connection.
Yeah, and she talks about searching for you in crowds
Right.
and feeling you in every breath. Yes.
It's like this constant presence in her life,
Yeah.
even though we never learn, use true identity.
And I think that's what makes it so compelling.
Yeah.
It forces us to kind of reflect on our own
Yeah.
yearnings, our own searches for connection and meaning. Like,
Yeah.
who or what are we drawn to?
Yeah.
What are we hoping to find?
That's a powerful question.
It is. It is.
It's considered.
And she doesn't shy away from exploring the messy parts of her journey either.
Yeah.
She talks about feeling awkward in her body,
Yeah.
uneasy as a wounded being.
Yeah.
She even uses this phrase, it's striking,
Okay.
distorted by being shattered across time and space.
Wow.
It speaks to the impact of her experience, how it just fractured her sense of self.
But instead of hiding these vulnerabilities,
Right.
She embraces them.
Yeah.
She writes about believing that every encounter, every connection
Mhm.
with another person brought her closer to you.
It's like she saw her own wounded parts
Yeah.
reflected in others.
Mm-hmm.
And that created this sense of empathy and understanding.
Yeah.
And she dedicated herself to serving others,
Wow.
believing that by healing their hearts,
Yeah.
she was healing her own.
There's a beautiful reciprocity to that idea,
Yeah.
that we receive when we give.
It all comes back around, right?
Yeah, it all comes back around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it brings us back to that earlier quote
Yes.
about healing herself and in turn healing the world.
Exactly. It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Her personal healing,
Yeah.
her yearning for connection with you,
Yeah.
her desire to help others.
Right.
It all weaves together to
Yeah.
create this tapestry of
Yeah.
meaning and purpose.
So we've talked about, the aftermath of her illness,
Mhm.
the power of perspective, the 4 parts of being,
Right.
this incredible drive to heal and connect.
Yes.
But there's still so much to unpack.
Oh, especially about you.
This mysterious you.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. And in part 3, we'll delve deeper into the
Okay.
possible interpretations of you and explore, the profound implications of this deeply personal journey.
Back again, ready to wrap up our deep dive into chapter 31.
Yeah, this one's really got me thinking.
Me too. And we've been talking about this whole idea of healing and the author's journey
Mhm.
and this yearning for connection with this mysterious you.
Right. It's like a constant thread throughout the whole chapter, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And as we kind of delve deeper into the possible interpretations
Yeah.
of you, do you think it's meant to represent like a specific person or more of a concept?
I think that's the beauty of it. It could be both.
Yeah.
On one hand, there are times when you feels very much like a potential romantic partner,
Okay.
someone that she longs to share her life with.
She even talks about, imagining standing before you and bearing her soul,
Right. Yeah.
hoping for acceptance.
There's a real vulnerability there
Oh,
in
absolutely.
those passages. Yeah.
It's like she's seeking a love that can embrace all of her,
Right.
even the parts of herself that feel broken or distorted from her
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah. And then there are other moments where it feels like you takes on a more spiritual dimension.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when she talks about feeling you in every breath,
Right.
sensing you everywhere she goes.
Yeah, like you represents that connection
Right.
to something larger than herself,
Yes.
a
Yeah.
divine presence, maybe.
Right. And that connects to her evolving spirituality too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
She talks about feeling abandoned by God after her illness,
Mm-hmm.
but then finding her way back to a more personal,
Right.
less dogmatic
Less structured.
faith. Yeah. So could you be a representation of that?
I think so, absolutely. It could symbolize that source of love and healing
Yeah.
she's been searching for,
Mm-hmm.
that force that transcends traditional religion.
So you encompasses both
I think so.
the human and the divine,
Mm-hmm.
the personal and the universal.
I think she does that very intentionally to
Oh.
make us really think about it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
who or what do we yearn for?
Yeah.
What kind of connections are we seeking?
It's so powerful, and it makes this chapter so much more than just her story.
It is.
It's like an invitation for all of us
I agree.
to reflect on our own journeys of
Absolutely.
healing and connection.
It reminds us that even when things are really tough,
Yeah.
there's always possibility for growth,
Yeah.
transformation and love.
Yeah. Well, this has been incredible.
It has.
A truly insightful deep dive into this chapter.
Yes.
We've explored so much, the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of healing
Right.
and wrestled with this mystery of you.
Yeah, this you.
And what it represents. I think it's going to stick with me for a while.
Me too.
Yeah, so much to think about.
So much to think about. And, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Remember the author talking about finding beauty in the life in between?
Yes.
Think about that. What does that phrase mean to you?
Yeah.
Where do you find those beautiful moments and meaning in your own life,
Mm-hmm.
even when things are hard?
Yeah.
Maybe if you think about that, you'll get a little closer to understanding your own version of you,
That's beautiful.
the connections that nourish your soul.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.